Welcome to the Thriving Artist Podcast, where we share strategies and support for artists to thrive.
We know that the art world can feel like a lonely place, and we want to provide a network of support, impactful strategies, and an abundance of encouragement to help you grow your authentic art career.
We're your hosts. I'm Jamie Smith.
And I'm Kaylan Butine, and we are also the co-founders of the Thrive Together Network, a community of female and non-binary identifying artists and artists who are caregivers.
We truly believe in community over competition, and we're so glad you're here. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Thriving Artist Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Kaylan Butine, and one of the things I have the most self-doubt around as an artist is that, and maybe as a person, is that I am too much. I have too much energy. I have too much passion, that people maybe will see me as kind of all over the place or, not focused because I love to do so many things.
One of the things I love the most about you, Kaylan. So there you go. And I'm Jamie Smith. I'm your second host, and definitely something that I struggle with self-doubt as an artist, which I think it's sad to say because it's like the human soul is that, am I good enough? As I make work, I think, am I really good enough to be showing this work and calling myself like a capital A artist? So it's been there since the beginning. I will continue on feeling these ways, but it's a heavy topic.
I am there with you. So today we are tackling this heavy topic of self-doubt as an artist, and our hope is that listening will help you feel a bit lighter, help you understand that there are so many artists feeling the same way that you are. I think every artist, probably every human, struggles with self-doubt, which actually literally means that you don't have faith in yourself, right? That you don't have, or that you lack in some ways kind of the trust and, the hope, the courage to support yourself. So just this idea of feeling doubt or uncertainty about our own abilities, or, like you said, Jamie, that maybe we're just not good enough, right? The art world is this place with lots of mystery. There's lots of expectations. There's lots of injustice. And we're just kind of constantly fighting against a system that really wasn't built to support us. And we're trying to break it down and rebuild it so that it will support our careers, right? And I think just that kind of grind of figuring out how to be an artist in a capitalistic society is one of those struggles that leads to self-doubt, because we just feel like we don't have the support. And so then, kind of these self-doubts just have all these places to trickle in, right? When there's cracks in the system.
And also there's sort of this lack of understanding. And we've talked about this before, of just like how we're fed the narrative of the artist and the sort of lone male figure out in the world that is basically hermited away making masterpieces. And so, but in reality, especially today's reality, anyone can be an artist. We are humans, we are unique, and we have different paths. And, we are very soft little butterflies, typically, not everyone as artists, but from a lot of the artists I've met, and we have, not only are we human, but we have a lot of self-doubt because we're making pieces of ourselves and putting it out in the world. It's a big job. So good for all of us for choosing this path. And we're
so brave.
We are so brave, and we can, we're going to build faith in ourselves as we go here.
Okay. And I just want to say too, because I know everybody listening is like, yeah. And another big reason that I have so much self-doubt is because of social media. So we know, we hear you, it's a big thing that feeds sort of this self-doubt monster. So today, the whole point of the episode today is to just share some strategies for fighting self-doubt, right? Fighting back and building up our confidence so that we can push back those like self-doubt monsters that are kind of haunting us sometimes. We want to just share some practical steps with you today. I think this is a good episode to maybe take some notes or to pause what we're saying and do some journaling as we kind of go through these prompts, because, we don't want to just feed you our own script about this. We're trying to help you reshape how you look at yourself as an artist, and that's going to take some reflection. So our first tip, the first thing we want you to do to find better ways to fight your self-doubt is, number one, identify why art is important. So when all of those little pesky voices are like coming at you, they're whispering, that your art isn't good enough or that you're too much or whatever it is, whispering doubt about your career, I think being very clear about why art matters to you can help you fight off those monsters. So, think about it for yourself, name it for yourself. Why does art matter? Why do we need art in the world? And when you're ready to put your art out in the world, why does your art matter, right? Like really identifying why art is important to you actually ignites the passion and the love and the renewal for art in the first place again. Jamie, anything you want to share? What are maybe some of your answers to those questions? Why does art matter to you?
Well, I actually have done a lot of work on this topic. I didn't really think about, personal confidence as an artist, but actually it was a lot around money and my work around, becoming an artist as a career, but also buying art. And it was sort of my money hangups because when I was growing up, it was like single mom and original art was not literally on the table. It was food on the table. And so it was not something that it was a big transition for me to then say, I want to be an artist from a very practical job that was a teacher. So I really worked through that story around my relationship with money and how I saw myself in that world. But what I really realized to me is that art matters because it's a way that I feel connected to like a lineage of people and other artists and history. Being in Canada, we have a very small history, Western history anyways. We have a very big, beautiful First Nations history, but what we're taught is that it's a short one here. And when I go to Europe, you're walking on the streets and you're like, thousands of years of people have walked on the same street and you just don't have that here. And art is a way that I do feel a connection point and it makes me feel connected. And I think there aren't that many things that you can spend your money on and actually feel that and not, just say this is a nice thing I have, but it's made by someone else. And I just find that wonderful.
I love that. I love that idea of kind of it being this entry point into a larger conversation, right? That otherwise you wouldn't maybe have. I think art matters to me because I just really believe in artists and the way that artists move through the world. Like I want to live sort of counter to the culture that is out there. I want to be somebody who is shaping culture and, shaping the world to be a better place. And I think the way that artists do that with innovation and beauty and growth and justice, it makes art matter to me, right? Because I just think artists, when they're making their art, are actively building a world that I want to live in.
And by having that art and, why it matters is then you're supporting that in your own way. So yeah, I love that. And our second thing that we want you to do or think about when you're working on beating self-doubt, and it's always going to be there. We just can have, good days, better days with it. So number 2 is to name your fears and insecurities. And Kaylan, you've kind of, for me, hallmarked this saying of like, name what matters, which I really love. And it's helped me with getting clear on my priorities and that sort of thing. So I love this idea of just naming what you're afraid of, and even starting this podcast and saying, I doubt that I am enough. It's kind of like, okay, that was said. It's not going to stop me.
Right.
But again, all these things that just happen in our head are the things that get us, and they can really get us down. So just take some time, and you might want to do that right now. Press pause, write down, journal about this oat, and you actually might not be as afraid as you thought.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing it, you might realize, yeah, everyone must feel this way. I'm not alone. Let's get on with it.
Yeah.
And then you might find something that you're like, I actually really need to work on this, and I need to talk to some other artists about how they feel about it. I need to see my therapist, whatever it is, but
Mm-hmm.
you're addressing it. And
Yeah.
that is, that's taking your power back from this insecurity.
Well, and I think for me, like connected to this tip is that, self-doubt, like very often the power of doubting ourselves is the power that holds over us is when we don't understand it, right?
Yeah.
Because it just feels like this big cloud that is holding us down, and we don't even really know why we're doubting ourselves. We just know that it's there. And so, kind of like what you suggested, naming why you feel self-doubt, naming your fears and your insecurities, I think it just moves us toward action, right?
Mm-hmm.
To build the muscles against those things. So, okay. So number 3 is to clarify your expectations, which is a way to fight self-doubt. So as artists, as women, as caregivers, whatever you identify as, there are just so many expectations that are placed on us, that we put on ourselves, that are, kind of out there in our society. Artists tend to push ourselves and compare ourselves to others so intensely, right? It's honestly sometimes magical that we get the work done that we get done, because, it's just hard to be an artist. So I think taking some time to get really clear on what the expectations you have for yourself as an artist. What are your main goals and your priorities? What's your vision for your career? When you know those things, that will help you stay focused on your work, and it'll help you build the confidence to not get distracted by all the doubts that might come your way.
Mm-hmm. I think too, with this idea of, am I enough? What is enough? And so we're
Mhm.
asking you to clarify what enough is. And one thing
Yes.
that's helped me this year is we built sort of this tool book, this
Mhm.
workbook that our members use. It's called the Thriving Artist Map. And it starts off the year with a lot of planning and prioritizing and expectations. And so as we've gone through this year, it's really helped me as I've changed things, as I've
Mhm.
relooked at things. Instead, in the past, I've kind of had it all in my head.
Mhm.
And there was a lot of times where I'm like, well, I'm not doing this thing. I should be doing that thing. So again, just getting really clear with yourself, having some grace for yourself.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that map is available to any of our members. So you can jump on the network and get started on it. It's a full workbook. We have activities, and yeah, it'll get you clear if you're looking for somewhere to get clear.
Well, and I just want to say too, if you're not interested in the Thriving Artist Map, we have a free activity on our website called the North Star activity, which is literally prompts to help you write a North Star for your art career. So it really is this kind of little written piece of inspiration that you can use to guide you as you make decisions about your art career. So that is a free activity you can get on our website, www.thrivetogethernetwork.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so our next suggestion for fighting self-doubt is one that I could use a little work on. Maybe you too,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie. I don't know.
No, not me.
So number 4 is to cultivate patience.
Mm-hmm.
My family definitely can tell you I am not always the most patient person. Jamie, maybe you as my business bestie can attest to this. I know, my fire and my passion just help me feel excited. And when I'm excited about something, I want things done right away. I want the finish line to be like perpetually closer to me, right? I want to be working towards something always. And I crave accomplishment, and I feel confident when I am accomplishing things, right? But that is another reason why being an artist is so hard, because it's not easy to just kind of meet these huge career milestones. A lot of these things take a long time. We talk all the time about how we're in it for the long haul. It's about the journey. It's about the everyday experience of being an artist. And at the end of the day, I actually don't want a career that just skyrockets when I'm 25. Well, I'm far from 25 now, but you get the idea. Like, if I had kind of burn out already, I'm only 36. Like, what is the point in that? Like, I want to be making art forever, for the rest of my life. I want it to be growing sustainably and sort of inching forward in ways that allow me to live the life I want to live, right? So I just think this idea of cultivating patience, of being patient with yourself, and trusting that, it's really about the journey and about the growth and the experience rather than just the accomplishments. Like, staying in that growth mindset can help fight your self-doubt.
Well, and remembering that it's actually the ego that wants all the accolades, but
Yep.
our actual lives, we typically crave like sustainability and things, we don't want burnout, and it can be really hard to remember that. And I think
Yep.
in the self-doubt moments, it's like, why has this not happened for me yet? Why am I not there yet?
Yes.
And it just takes time. And so just really identifying what is ego and what is real, and offering some patience there.
Yes.
It's easy to say, harder to do.
Absolutely.
So, number 5 is a really good one for fighting self-doubt, and that is just remembering how far you've come. It's why I love journaling and reflecting, and it's why I think it's important to put things in paper, on paper, because it's so easy, again, for our minds to play tricks on us. But actually, what I've noticed from doing the map this year that we've made, I set some pretty big goals in January, and a couple of them have happened, but a few haven't. And I'm only focused on the few that haven't. So having a place that you can go back, see where you've come. We divide our year into quarters. So we have check-ins every quarter. And that is really helpful because you kind of have 3 months of focus. So I'm pretty excited. At the end of this year, it'll be our first year with this full map in use. And it's really helped me to keep that, remembering how far you've come. And if you've never done any writing in that way, take the time today to kind of just reflect on the last years or months of your art practice, and have it in paper so that your future self, when you're having a bad day, can go back and have a look, because you're doing a great job.
Yes, I love that, Jamie. And those quarterly check-in sessions, I feel like help you stay so grounded, not only in what you're wanting to build, but exactly what you said, what our 5th tip was, in how far we've come, and, just pausing to celebrate, because we live in a capitalist society that just wants to push us forward to more and more and more. And, being an artist, being a human, and refusing to kind of be so accomplishment focused is about pausing and reflecting and celebrating how far we've come, because we work so hard. We've done so much. So
yes.
Another episode I just want to mention as we wrap up here is that episode number 13 was called How to Be an Empowered Artist. And there's a lot of similar encouragement in that episode. If this episode, 5 Ways to Fight Self-Doubt, was, your jam, definitely check out episode 13 as well. So as always, we are here for you. We are cheering you on. And we just really believe in the work you're doing as thriving artists.